Hello and welcome to Exclusive Interview, coming to you from the studios of 84 TV Radio. My name is Stanley Bentu. Now, ask any young Nigerian what his or her biggest concern is about the country, and the answer may not be security or health or even the economy. Chances are the answer would be the level of unemployment. Now, this feeds into every other problem that I mentioned earlier. Today on Exclusive Interview, we examine the Nigerian film industry, better known as Nollywood. Is it the unlikely hero that can bring down the unemployment Goliath? Here is someone who can tell us.
He is one of the most recognizable faces of Nollywood who has enjoyed commercial success in 4 decades. In the early 1990s, Segun Arinze joined the Nigerian movie industry and rose to fame after featuring in the blockbuster movie Black Arrow, a film that brought him to the limelight and gave him his nickname. Since then, he never looked back. He has acted in more than 250 Nollywood movies. Before he became a Nollywood icon, Segun Arinze had a thriving music career with his 1992 debut studio album titled Dreams. His real legacy, however, is carving a niche for himself as the archetype villain. He is the movie bad boy everyone loves to hate. But in real life, he is a loving husband and father. Segun Arinze joins us today on Exclusive Interview.
Joining us today on this edition of Exclusive Interview is the man who is still called the Black Arrow, and his name is Segun Arinze. He's a Hollywood icon. Segun, it's Hollywood, such a pleasure. Nollywood.
We should start all over again.
No. You could be a Hollywood icon.
Yes, if I do get the opportunity, I'm not going to make that mistake. One straight shot, I'll take my chance.
Great. So this is where we want to take it from. Hollywood has come so far. Bollywood has come very far. What about Nollywood? We're still struggling with so many things within the Nigerian film industry. And you have been the president of the Actors Guild, the Screen Actors Guild, before. What were some of the biggest challenges that you faced during that period?
Well, for starters, Nollywood is a brand name for the Nigerian movie industry, and you have a nucleus of other guilds and associations that make up Nollywood. So, but the biggest that everybody will know is the Actors Guild of Nigeria, because of the fact that actors are the ones people get to see at the end of the day. But you have the people who work around the clock to make things happen behind the scene. Directors Guild, Producers Association, production managers, cinematographers, creative designers as costume, makeup, set designing, and the likes of it. So all those components make up Nollywood. Mm-hmm. So I even writers, entertainment writers, have an association that are also part of Nollywood. But what we have gone through in the past, do I say 30, 35 years, close to 35 years now, mm-hmm. is that it's been a heavy metamorphosis of the industry. I remember there was a time that people did not regard us, did not respect us. All they just felt was, okay, they're actors, and they look at us as charlatans, people who are never do good, who never really have anything to offer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I happened to fall into that era as well, because I remember my father those days will tell me in Ilorin, in the 80s.
It was a very difficult period for anyone who was interested in entertainment.
Extremely difficult.
And I know that because I was a part of that generation.
Yeah, good.
We had great dreams. We watched Hollywood. We saw the big stars. We saw Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman, all of those people. And we were trying to channel some of that creative energy and translate it into our world. But it was so difficult until I think it was Living in Bondage that came out and sort of changed everything.
Making a mistake about Living in Bondage?
Well, no, but that is the reference point. I'm not really certain what that history is, but can you explain that?
That's what I'm trying to explain to you. That before that we had the industry, but that
Behind the Clouds,
Mirror in the Sun, and all that.
Yeah.
Things started Checkmate, and
yeah.
things that Fortunes, which I appeared in, things started changing rapidly. And NTA now said they didn't want their staff to be acting and working with them at the same time. So choose what you want. So there was a mass exodus from NTA, and those guys now found themselves outside working. Chris Obi-Rapper, for instance, went ahead to do Living in Bondage. He directed Living in Bondage. Kenneth Nebue,
that's from Fortunes.
From working from NTA. Now, what I'm trying to say here is that Kenneth Nebue started this whole thing. He was selling Yoruba films at a point in time, and then decided he wanted to do an Igbo film, and then did subtitling and called it Living in Bondage, and boom, it happened. Everybody, it was success. It was a great success, and before you knew it, people latched onto it and started doing home videos. And so what you now started seeing as home videos now started metamorphosing into what today you now call Nollywood. So we've always had an industry, but it was just that we were not taken serious because people felt that we were charlatans. Why would anybody want his son to go and theater art to go and be a filmmaker to start with in those days? But now,
okay,
I'm coming. Well, now on the streets you walk, everybody wants to be an actor. Everybody wants to, I have a son, I have a daughter, I have an uncle, I have a...
Yeah, can you find a spot for them?
Exactly.
And yes, and I want to come back to that. But before we do that, I would really like us to look at the Nigerian film industry. Because we have a major problem with employment in Nigeria today. And in my opinion, this is my analysis. If you do not engage young people creatively, because young people are full of energy and zest and creativity, and if you do not engage them that way, then they're going to fall into a life of crime. And maybe that's what we're suffering in Nigeria today. So my question to you is this: how can we use Nollywood to solve our employment problem
but it's already
in
happening.
Nigeria today?
It's been happening since. Is that news to you? It's been happening. Nollywood is, as far as we're concerned, till date, Nollywood is the highest employer of labor.
And that's what I'm interested
there's not two ways, but there's something to say
what
about
extent?
it.
How is Nollywood employing young people?
You have script writers, you have production assistants, you have...
How many people does it take to make a movie? One single product?
It depends on your capacity and your finance, your pocket. It depends on what you want to do, what you're looking for. If you're doing a two-man cast film, of course you will not need too many people working with you. You're doing a film that has about 30, 40 people, of course you will need hands. You're doing an epic movie that needs hundreds of people, you need hands. So it varies. Your budget, the script, the production values that the producer and the director have. So it varies. But whatever we say right now still doesn't change the fact that Nollywood is the highest employer of labor as we speak in this country today. As we speak, I've seen doctors who have left their jobs to come into Nollywood. I've seen engineers who have left. I've seen military guys. I've seen police officers who have told me I want to come into Nollywood. They quit their job and come into Nollywood. It's the largest employer of labor. At every point in time, even if you're doing a production and you have only 20% on the crew, it's something. It counts for something. And so you can imagine times that a month, maybe they shoot a movie for 7 days or they're shooting for 14 days, and you finish, you go on to the next one, you go on to the next one. It keeps you busy, keeps you working. So it's the largest employer of labor.
You have been the president of the Screen Actors Guild.
Of the Actors Guild of Nigeria.
Of Nigeria.
Yeah, well, you can say Screen Actors.
And you have seen everything as it goes through. For a young Nigerian who's probably coming out of school, whether as a graduate or maybe even as just someone who's, you know, attracted to some sort of opportunity within the film industry.
Yeah.
What would you advise them to do? What are the different job opportunities that may be available
for youngsters.
For young Nigerians, or in different places.
There are a lot.
What are the opportunities?
There are a lot of opportunities for you. So you can become a writer, you can become a scripter, you can become a writer, you can become a producer, you can be in a production team, you can be a creative person. It's quite large, it's big for you to do. Quite a lot of things for you to do. Quite a lot of things for you to do.
Because some of us can't, not all of us can act.
Yeah?
We all can't act.
Well, yes, agreed. Not all of us
So
can act.
if I'm a young person, I cannot act, I cannot be in the front of the screen. Is there a place for me
That's
within
what
the
I'm telling
industry?
you. I just said that. That you either become a production assistant, you either become a creative person behind the scene, you either become a cinematographer, you go and train to become a cinematographer. So many things. There's so many. Listen, it's like a big elephant made up of so many parts. So there are things for you to do at every point in time. Even the entertainment reporter is part of the industry, because he or she sees what goes on in the industry and says, okay, I'm going to take this out and tell the world that this is what's going on. So it's quite big. When I say big, very big. Now, imagine Hollywood, how Hollywood is, or Bollywood, what they're doing. Now, come down to Nigeria and see what we're doing. I think we've done tremendously well for ourselves. And we should pat ourselves on the back and say, we've come this far, we've done well. We might not be as hot, as big, as highly intense as Hollywood or Bollywood, but we're getting there. We're inching closer and closer. The kind of equipment we use these days, top notch. Directors are changing. The narrative of Nollywood is changing. There's a whole change in the narrative of Nollywood. It's changed. The stories are becoming better and better. The actors are improving by the day. We're having finance coming in, trickling. Government is also looking in that direction. They're also coming to people and say, hey, this is also part of the economy. It's something that will help the economy, providing jobs for youngsters, providing for a lot of people in the society. Whether you're old, whether you're young, there's something for you to do in Nollywood. There's always something for you to do in Nollywood.
So let's even look at that for a moment, the opportunities for Nollywood and how Nollywood can play a part in making sure that Nigeria as a country becomes better. We have a commission for national orientation. And I do want to share this with you, because there was a movie that was made sometime in the 80s. It was called Top Gun. I'm sure you must have seen that, along with a lot of us who were probably young teenagers at the time. And Top Gun was a movie that inspired a lot of young people to join the U.S. Navy Marine pilots. Nigeria is struggling with getting young people to buy in to the whole concept of living right, doing the right thing, being not corrupt. And because people do not have so much faith in government, is there a role for film to play to adjust the thinking of the Nigerian individual?
Certainly, there's a role for the film industry to play.
So explain that to me.
Let me give you an example. Now, you've seen the movie Contagious. You've seen Contagious. I don't know if you've seen Contagious, which is a movie that was on, what, 10 years or more back, way back then. And it talks about coronavirus. And forward to 2020, and we're dealing with coronavirus. What does that tell you? What America even does, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, is that sometimes the policies of governments and their ideas and what they want to sell to the populace, they use Hollywood to do it. And I see no reason why we cannot replicate it here. That whatever it is that the government wants to do, they can use the industry to pass the message on. Now, former President Goodluck Jonathan had always said it. In fact, even in a private meeting that I had with him at one point in time, said, if I have ideas I want to implement in government, I think I can use Nollywood to send my message across, because people will believe and understand that this is what the government is doing. So you can use the industry to pass the message on. And I think Hollywood has succeeded in that direction. Even Bollywood has succeeded in that direction, in using the film industry, latching onto the film industry to pass messages on. It is possible that we can do that here. And once we do that, we'll get it right. what is positive or negative. When it's negative news, the government has a way. The responsibility falls on us to help tell the narrative of the government. This is what we want to do. Positive to send the message out. So I think that government has not really, outside the fact that they say they're granting loans and whatever to the industry to help the industry because it's a major job provider. I think in terms of policies of government, in terms of the ideologies of government, that they should also, we should partner with government in passing out the messages of what government has to do.
Well, we'll want to find out exactly how government intends to do that and what ideas you do have, Segun. But we'll take a break, and when we come back, we have big questions as to exactly how the government can solve some of our national issues using the entertainment industry. We'll be right back.
Yes, my country people, I don't come again as I dey come always. You know, say any problem with the solution, they always follow up. No let any pikin give you problem. Any pikin wey no dey hear word, solution dey for am. My pikin no dey let me sleep. My pikin no dey let me arrange the parlor. My pikin no book.
Onikin.
Yes, sir.
How much did they say this again?
Before I tell you the amount, you see this one now for pikin when be say e stubborn well, e no dey hear word. The stubborn and na follow come. Now this one, now they say the correct then this one, you see pikin when no dey like doing homework. Before you know, teacher give her homework, e throw book was that e no dey do am. Na God say make we dey use it. You see this one, those one for the ones where they peace for house. They go just scatter bed everywhere, go they smell. Now this one that they give her, you see, when you give her this one twice, one in the morning, one in the night, for 3 weeks, now so he bread go arrange go default.
How much did they sell them?
But this one now 100 naira. You see, I say it's because and I came. This one now 150. You see, I'm. Then this one Slim Shady that 200 naira. Yes, and they say that for plenty people. Then they compound the work. What did they do?
I fit test her.
Yes, of course. Why not? Begin to the tester. Go
Hey, say make I test her now.
No, stop.
I won't buy it. I won't buy it.
No, make you go call the tester for my body. Okay. I don't sell again. They go.
I pay for them.
No. I not be for sale. I want just keep my hair and make my shop dey fine. What it? Hey, you just go market vlog person.
Okay, no sir. Now my tools. I just keep my hair. The worker no come. Mama, she make the back now.
They go. When they beat somebody.
AD4 TV Radio, we focus on education with emphasis on research and innovation, science and technology, women and girl-child education, children, health, youth and sports, socio-political and economic reforms, security, environment, entrepreneurship, and entertainment. We'll give you information at your fingertips. Learn on the go. Follow AD4 TV Radio on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. AD4 TV Radio, reliable and credible.
We love you, AD4 TV Radio.
Hey, who told you about the girls? Is it the locals? Is that your mom? What? Talk!
Look, it's over. If you want to kill me, just kill me. Just kill me.
Yakuda Julia.
ku kashe shi.
7 billion naira. That is the amount that the federal government says that it was going to support the entertainment industry with. But is the federal government actually spending that money right? And is that money actually going to make a difference? Well, welcome back to the exclusive interview. And I've been spending time with Segun Arinze, Nollywood superstar. And I want to ask you, Segun, what is your opinion of this? Do you think that this money that the federal government is pledged, is it going to make a difference?
Well, if it's rightfully channeled, it will make a lot of difference. Every cent counts, every kobo counts. But how do you disburse the money? And is it going to the right channel? And is it going for the right purpose? All those kinds of questions that need to be asked. 7 billion.
It is a lot of money. Let's be honest.
Quite frankly, yes. Jonathan came in, did his bit, and gave the industry some money, and that helped move the industry a bit forward. Now, our current administration under President Buhari has also come and say, give this people this money using the central bank, and the central bank has said, give the money to the banks. Unfortunately, rightly or wrongly, the banks are asking for an arm and a leg. Bring 30%. I mean, if I'm going to shoot a movie of, say, 10 million, and the banks tell me to go and bring 30% for counterpart funding, why would I want to do that? I might as well go to private individuals and source the money, the funding for the movie.
So a lot of the private filmmakers do not have that.
You tell me to bring 30%. I think for me, it's ridiculous. I'd rather, worst case scenario, 10%. They ask you, what is your collateral? Your movie is a collateral. Your movie is the collateral. And let me tell you, no matter how you look at a movie, it continues to sell. It continues to sell over a period of time. The film continues to sell.
Mm-hmm. And right. it's a gift that keeps on giving. Mm-hmm. And maybe that is the part I want to get into right now. Yeah. I want to look at how film actually translates into the Nigerian psyche, because we do have a problem that's attitudinal. Mm-hmm. And we also have a commission for National Orientation Agency. So can the National Orientation Agency partner with Nollywood? Because Nollywood is where a lot of Nigerians lived. I've learned that. So can the agency somehow engage? Earlier I talked about Top Gun and how they were able to get recruitment for the U.S. Navy pilots. Can the Nigerian National Orientation Agency use that to mobilize Nigerians to fight against corruption, to fight against nepotism, and some of these problems that plague our country?
Stanley, they can.
So why haven't they? What's going on?
I don't know. That's their business. They can do that if they want to do that.
So show me how.
I'm coming. They can. The National Orientation Agency can partner with the industry to say we need to pass our message. We were just talking a while ago about how government can use the movie industry to pass on the policies and messages that they have. They can if they want to do it. But for one reason or the other, out of greed, out of corruption, out of not being focused, they choose not to. They choose not to. They can if they want to. You can partner with the industry and say, this is the direction we're headed. This is what we want to do. This is the message we want to pass on. How best can we pass this message on? They can do it if they want to do it. But because of the level of myopism, they won't do it. Because of the level of selfishness, they won't do it. I don't care whose ox is gored as I'm talking to you right now. I think they're becoming very moribund. For me, if you want to work with Nollywood, Nollywood's an open book. Work with Nollywood. If you don't want to work with Nollywood, then it's fine. It's all well and good. The National Orientation Agency, the Ministry of Information, all can work with Nollywood if they want to work with Nollywood. Let's leave it at that.
So does it come down to money? Is it how much they can spend?
Sometimes money is not everything. Listen, you can spend little and still achieve more. You can spend more and achieve little. Depends on what you're looking for.
So what should we do?
What you should do? They know what to do. I'm not going to suggest to them what to do. They know what to do. The industry is there for them to work with. They have producers, directors, writers, creative people, geniuses, managers, and all in Nollywood.
So can I suggest something? If they can come up with a narrative of a mindset that they would like Nigerians to have, and approach Nollywood and say, hey, this is the way we would like the next generation
I'm coming, Stanley, on our way here.
Would that be a place to start?
I'm coming on our way here. We're listening to Nigeria Go Survive by Venu Mariga, which Sonny Oti had done earlier on. And we're talking about how good the song was. And we're talking about Andrew checking out in those days.
That's right.
Was that not a message passed on? Did people not
It was
buy
a very strong message.
Did people not buy it that time, that you shouldn't go out of the country but stay in the country and let's keep the country together and work? I would say, Andrew, don't check out by the late Nibili Elebuwa. What are we talking about here? It's the greed. I don't just want to get angry or be provoked. It's the greed, the selfishness, the myopism that I talked about. If they want to, they truly, truly want to, they can key into Nollywood. But if they don't want to, it's fine and good. Let me not cross that boundary. Let me not cross that barrier. Just leave it at that. Let them use their tongue to cap their teeth.
All right. Well, let's move on to other things. And I want to talk about Lionheart, which was produced by Genevieve Naji, or directed by her as her, one of her pioneer directorial product. And it was supposed to be, it was shortlisted for an Oscar. Unfortunately, the last minute, there were some technicalities, and she was not eligible for that. How do you feel about that?
Unfortunately, I never got to see Lionheart. I saw just bits and pieces of it. But I haven't said that. I think Genevieve did well. She's done so well for herself in the industry. She's carved a niche for herself, and she's got
the reason that was given was that if it's a foreign film, it must be in a foreign language. However, English is not a foreign language to Nigeria. So when you have a movie, you produce a movie in Nigeria and it's spoken at least 70–80% in English, then
I do not know.
Should that
I do not know, honestly. I do not know what the criteria was for disqualifying Lionheart. But for the little, from the bit I heard, was that if she had as much as gotten up to 60–70% in terms of local language, she probably would have crossed. So
but could she
I don't
do
want to
that?
dabble in. I don't want to dabble into that politics.
The effect of that would mean that if you wanted to win an Oscar, you would deliberately make a movie
it was clearly stated a film in a foreign language.
But is that fair, though?
Well, the Oscar committee or the board knows what they're looking for. So it's not my place to tell them whether they're fair or unfair. They had the prerequisites, they had laid out the outlines, the guidelines as to what they wanted to do. So it would be very unjust of me to go condemning them or saying they were supposed to do this when I do not know the truth of the matter or the heart of the matter, what really went down. But if they said they had given guidelines and the guidelines were not followed, well, unfortunately that happened. But when you say, from the little I heard, like I told you, say foreign language, so if you had that much has gotten to 70% of Igbo spoken in the movie, I'm sure it probably would have crossed. It probably would have crossed. So but anyway, I do not want to dabble into the politics of the Oscars because I do not know the beginning and the end. Neither do I want to get stuck in
Maybe we should have our own Oscars.
Maybe we should have our own Oscars.
We could do that, yeah, and validate ourselves, and you don't have to look outside.
Like it or not, the truth of the matter is that every awards always comes with its controversy. There is no awards in this world that doesn't come with its own controversy.
Absolutely not.
This person was supposed to win, this person wasn't supposed to win that.
Great. So I want to now zero in on your career as an actor. What are you doing lately?
I'm working. I'm doing quite a number of things. I'm shooting 2 animation films that I'm the voice director for, Alobe and Gami and the Living Things that we're working on. 2 different production companies. And of course, I'm work in progress. I never see myself as a perfect final product. I'm always working. And then Chico Ejiro and I are working on something. We're looking for funding for it. I'm sure very soon we'll tie up all the loose ends because we're trying to do the return of Black Arrow for the big screen. And,
Black Arrow.
Yeah. And so quite a number of the projects that one has in hand that we're doing. I'm also doing Think Nigeria is a reality TV show that we're working on as well. I'm working with some team of people, and that's going to be done in Owerri with Jasper as well. And so quite a number of projects that we're working on, and we're work in progress.
Well, what happens to your music career?
Music career, I decided to just let that go. So what I do these days, sing in the bathroom.
In the 1990s, you did this record.
Dreams.
Oh, you appeared in this video with Ramsey Noah, which we found, by the way.
That was for Kingsley Ogoro. Now, what do you use the cook?
That's right. That's the one.
But prior to that,
what was going on there?
What was going on there was that Kissy just decided to make a song about food. And he just did. It was a fun video. He ended up with a fun video, and we left it as a fun video. But prior to that, I'd done quite a number of 2 albums. In 1992, I released Dreams on the Premier Music label, and then in 2006, I also came out two songs on the OJ's music. It's just there, but right now I'm just having fun time.
Do you still sing?
I do sing when I want to.
Would you sing for me?
No, I won't sing for you. I'm not in a great shape to sing right now. No, I'm sorry. I have to tell you that, Stanley.
Okay, right. Segun and I went to a karaoke bar not too long ago, and he wowed the audience with his rendition of Lionel Richie, or was it the Commodores?
Yeah, Truly.
Truly. No, still.
Still.
It was still. One line from that.
You can't repeat to this. Okay.
One line.
One line. I do love you. Da, 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 da. Stay.
Segun Arinze, thank you so much for taking the time
to keep it.
And for torturing yourself through those scanty lines.
Oh, well.
Segun Arinze singing still, and Nollywood icon and superstar who's been talking to us as to how Nollywood can actually solve the problem of employment in Nigeria. It's been a tremendous time spent with him, and well, it's a pleasure every time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was indeed a pleasure talking to my guest, Nollywood superstar Segun Arinze, who made several crucial points about the role Nigeria's blooming entertainment industry can play in national orientation and development. But I want to talk about national development for a moment. Now, according to the Ministry of Labor and Employment, Nigeria's unemployment rate stands at 33.5%. Now, to paint a picture of that, imagine over 20 million young adults out of work. Now, this is a recipe for disaster. But we do have a simple solution that can help ease that problem: the Nigerian film industry value chain. Now, to create one film, a long list of skilled and unskilled people are needed. You need a director, a producer, film actors, makeup artists, cameramen, gaffers, cinematographers, script writers, the list goes on and on. Now, while on set, the crew needs to eat, so caterers are required. To move from location to location, drivers are needed. Post-production demands the services of line editors, graphic artists, and music composers. And by the time the product is finished, it triggers a new set of solution providers. The film needs to be shown at theaters, which creates jobs for box office staff and even more caterers, while providing profits for entrepreneurs who own the theaters. But before one can be confident of making such profits, advertisers and marketers have to do their jobs, which indirectly provides patronage for television, radio stations, online publishers, and even social media influencers. Now, it's clear that a growing film industry has the potential to provide hundreds or even thousands more jobs than the oil industry that has become a Nigerian obsession. Now, that should be music to the ears of any administration that is serious about truly tackling unemployment. And when you really think about it, it's a low-hanging fruit. Now, all the government needs to do is this: 1, provide incentives for more investment into the film sector. Now, this would give businessmen a motivation to open up more cinema screens across the country to truly take advantage of the massive Nigerian market. Number 2, to lend government weight to better organizing the film industry. Now, this government can do by ensuring proper implementation of piracy laws and protection of intellectual property. 3, tweak Nigerian foreign policy to create deliberate strategies that gain access to international markets for Nigerian films. And 4, to create and carry out policies within the country that would make exploitation of Nigerian filmmakers difficult. Now, it would also make it easier for production companies to make profits. Better profits mean grand projects, which in turn mean more hands required to execute. In other words, more job opportunities. Better profits also mean more taxes that can be captured by the government from a vibrant film industry. Nigeria is a young country, considering that 60% of its population is under the age of 40. That can be a blessing and a curse. Young people are blessed with an abundance of energy and passion, and that power has to be channeled one way or the other. Engage young people creatively, and that power can lead to revolutionary discoveries that can truly move the nation to the next level. Neglect that energy, and it will be channeled towards propelling Nigeria down a dark path of anger, violence, fear, blood, and death. Well, that's it for this edition of Exclusive Interview. Don't forget to join us again next time. Till then, thanks for stopping by.